Massimo doesn't need much of a presentation, but just to play my role, he's from Modena, a relatively small town in Emilia-Romagna, in the Po Valley. So we're sort of in the center north of Italy, and it's one of the richest regions in Italy in terms of food products. I'm sure you're all familiar with Parmigiano Reggiano and aceto balsamico and culatello and all that stuff. So he grew up in that sort of environment, and of course, as in many Italian families, you learn a lot about food in your family. He studied law, but his passion was food, so he opened a trattoria, sort of definitely not a fine dining establishment, called Campazzo. And there he learned a lot from other chefs and a woman that helped him cook, Lidia Cristoni. It sort of made a name for himself, and that exposed him to different big chefs. Oh, by the way, he came to New York to get some experience, and that's where he met his wife, Lara, who is here somewhere, I'm sure. I cannot see with the lights in my face. So he worked also for Alain Ducasse at l'Hôtel de Paris in Monaco. And in '94, he went back to Modena to start the project of the Osteria Francescana, his restaurant, for which he was named, the restaurant was named #1 last year in the best 50 restaurants. At the Francescana in '99, Ferran Adrià arrived, and somehow he became Massimo's mentor. And he's collaborated with René, and he's been working in particular in the past 3 years on this project of the refettorio, which is the idea of changing the way we think of a soup kitchen. And so he started in Milan during the Expo, and he used the food that was supposed to be thrown out to feed 90 homeless, refugees, all sorts of people for 6 months. And he invited chefs from all over the world to join him in this endeavor. So this has become the core mission of his nonprofit called Food for Soul. And they've been working in Rio de Janeiro for the Olympics. They're actually opening in London in a few days. And we're looking also at New York as another possible location for this sort of initiative. We will start with a short video, and then Massimo will come and give his keynote address, and we will have time for question and answers.
Perdersi nella quotidianità significa continuare a sognare, ascoltare se stessi o ascoltare attorno. Che cos'è per noi la cucina? Che cos'è per noi il mondo alimentare? Il pane secco, cioè il pane del giorno precedente, può diventare oro per tante persone. E allora da dove si parte?
The origins of the refettorio, Massimo said, what about if we were cooking for people who didn't know who we were? What if we opened a soup kitchen cooking with the waste from Expo?
Che cosa significa nutrire il pianeta? L'Expo per me significa guardare quello che è lo spreco e lottare contro lo spreco. Ferran ti raccontava che una briciola di pane o una crosta di parmigiano potevi trasmettere più emozione che servire un caviale scadente. Questo era un messaggio importantissimo, un messaggio di libertà.
Le vrai sujet, c'est qu'il y a 1 milliard d'individus qui mangent trop et 1 milliard d'individus qui n'ont pas accès à la nourriture. Donc c'est juste une balance, en fait, la réalité.
We need to eat, but the chef, they speak about the tables, about Expo, about everything. But our problem, nobody speak about us.
I understand that people say go back to your kitchen and shut up, but that's bullshit because everybody should do something. It's a simple gesture and it belongs to everybody, the responsibility to take care of other people that are in dire straits. But I believe that it comes natural for a lot of cooks to want to take care of people because that's what we do every day. You feed people.
まずやっぱりいっぱいあるのがパン。硬くなってもう食べるそのままでは食べられないパンがものすごいいっぱいあるので、まあ、それを、料理にもデザートにも使います。
Working with waste is great. You don't know how much you can get from a product until you are in this position.
La idea es precisamente hacer un ejercicio rápido de creatividad, pensar lo que hay. El mundo nos escucha, observa lo que hacemos y nosotros tenemos la responsabilidad de actuar con sentido ético.
That we throw stuff away is the most heinous of crimes because believe me, in 100 years we'll look back to now and think, man, we had it all then. Now we're running out.
Imagínate que puedes usar todos los ingredientes del mundo y los mejores. Empiezas a dudar. Pero cuando tienes cosas limitadas, con eso ya se pueden hacer grandes cosas. Pero grandes cosas, La cucina del futuro non deve essere una cucina fatta per una piccola elite di persone che possono spendere. Certo, ci sarà sempre questo, ma la lotta sarà una lotta molto diversa. Non utilizzeremo più le tecniche e non utilizziamo più le tecniche al servizio dell'ego, del nostro ego, e creiamo piatti che hanno un significato estetico straordinario, ma che creiamo dei piatti che hanno un significato etico straordinario.
E poi ci si siede intorno al tavolo e lì non c'è tanto la curiosità di dire ma che cosa ti è successo, che cosa ti è capitato, come sei finito in questa situazione. Perché ciò che conta adesso sei tu e la tua vita è preziosa, la tua vita è sacra. E quando queste persone capiscono che non c'è curiosità, che non c'è altro interesse, ma c'è semplicemente la gratuità di stare del tempo con loro, che vuoi di più dalla vita? Che vuoi di più dalla vita?
Theater of Life. It's a new documentary that will be available on Netflix starting in a few weeks. So we're very glad to have a first taste here at the conference. And now I'd like to introduce you Massimo Bottura.
My name is Massimo Bottura. And in April '95, I opened a small restaurant in Modena, in a small street of Modena, that is my own town. And 22 years later, I can say I'm still dreaming big dreams. But I never dreamed that I would be invited to speak in New York. And I never thought I would be talking about food waste. What I knew about food waste was what I've learned from my grandmother and the Italian kitchen that is like la cucina povera, no? I would never have been invited to this conference 3 years ago because at that time, how many conferences there were about food waste? Let me tell you why I'm here today. So, in early 2014, we found out that the theme of Expo was Feed the Planet. Every country was calling all the chefs and try to get involved, the chefs, about their own ideas. Can you cook here? Can you cook there? But no one was asking the right question. As an Italian chef, Expo was very important to me. But we did not want to be part of a fairground, or we didn't want to create a pop-up. What did we do? We decided to make our own pavilion. Easy, no? There are Switzerland, United States, Italy, and there is Osteria Francescana. But not in the Expo thing, outside Expo. Because the people, they want to come, they had to come and check what we were doing outside Expo. So we decided to feed the planet in our own way. Numbers are numbers. 860 million people are needy. 1.4, now is 1.8, are overweight. And 1.3 billions of tons of food is wasted every year, 33%. So we saw Expo as an opportunity to raise awareness about food waste and food insecurity as two sides of the same coin. We saw an opportunity to create a community through cooking, to feed those in need, the homeless and the working poor, to show that chefs in 2014 and 2017 are much more than the sum of their recipes. We create a soup kitchen in a style of a refettorio, inside an abandoned theater in a neglected neighborhood of Milan. Abandoned theater is a metaphor for abandoned food, exactly the same way the architect, they were restoring the theater, we were restoring those kind of ingredients. We prepare meals with the inevitable food waste from Expo, supermarket surplus, as brown bananas, bruised apple. Otherwise, that was the stand as a dumpster. We invited chefs from around the world to transform ugly ingredients into delicious meals. So we replace a traditional soup kitchen with restaurant-style table service, furnished with oak tables instead of plastic ones. We serve meals in a safe and beautiful space with art and design. What is a refettorio? A place to restore, a place for beauty, a place to be nourished. Refettorio comes from the Latin word reficere, that means to remake and to restore. A refettorio nourishes the body and the soul. A refettorio is a place where you are invited to share meals. We had this idea 3 years ago, but today we are still serving 500 meals a week, just in Milan. Through the experience, we discover 3 key values in this project. 1, quality of the ideas. 2, power of beauty. 3, value of hospitality. Quality of ideas. Every morning, a truck arrives with the waste from Expo. 65 chefs from all over the world, we turn 15 tons of food waste into 10,000 healthy meals over 6 months. We set an example for the next generation. This is what happened in Milan. But imagine what could happen around the world if we give this, Creativity and expertise is the quality of the ideas and the key to working with reclaimed food, with surplus. Michel Troisgros here is unloading the track and thinking about how to turn those ingredients into delicious and tasty recipe. He made a recomfort soup with everything he had, you know? Is the mental palate that is telling you what to do. I have this, I'm gonna cook this, you know? And he found in a refrigerator what? Some pasta, meatballs, vegetables, and, you know, a Parmigiano Reggiano cheese rind broth that we made the day before. So that is what I meant when I talk about quality of the ideas. By working with chefs, we are able to pass on knowledge, to share recipe, to help reduce food waste through cooking healthy meal for those in need. What is the power of beauty? Outside the refectorio, there is a neon sign by the artist Maurizio Nannucci that says, "No more excuses." People cannot live by food alone. Beauty is what nourishes the soul. Beauty is an indivisible good. Beauty for guests, for volunteers, for chefs, for the whole community. We create a beautiful space for everyone, to share with everyone. 5 artists made artwork to the space. 13 designers each made a unique communal table. Mimmo Palladino made a new doorway, an external one, that was not hidden behind a closed door, to invite everyone to enter in a metaphoric but also physical way. The door said, "You are welcome here." It's not only about feeding people, giving them 3-course meal, but how we did that. The local community that in the beginning was protesting outside because we were bringing poor people in a poor neighborhood, you know, after a little while, she started being involved in this whole project. And the local community is at the heart of this project. 100 volunteers wash dishes, mop the floor, and serve our guests. They had a chance to welcome guests one by one. After a little while, Christina, she knew everyone by name. And they served them any plate, any dish at the table. We serve as guests, you know? At the beginning, people sat down and ate their meal in silence. 25 minutes, they left. After a short period of time, the meal became a celebration. I remember a guitar player from Senegal who was playing for everyone there. He was just a refugee who came from Africa a few months before. Guests paid attention to the food. They were eating. They had an opinion about that. They were complaining. They were gastronomic critics, you know, especially the Italians. And they want to share it with us. And, you know, we create a dialogue. Sharing a meal is a gesture of inclusion. So, what is Food for Soul? Food for Soul is not a charity project. It's a cultural project. What does really mean Food for Soul, or cultural project, and why? Because in looking for a solution to fight food waste, we found potential for a wider change. Food for Soul became aware of the impact of that ideas, beauty, and hospitality that could have. Food for Soul is like, but we really need more soup kitchen? No, I think we need more places to unite people at the table. We need more places to revive neighborhoods. We need more places to restore dignity. We need to change the way we think about ingredients, nourishment, and people. How? We stop throwing away our food. We listen to the needs of the local communities. We put ethic close to the aesthetic part. That is why Lara and I founded Food for Soul, to continue what we started, making this value accessible to more communities around the world. And this is Rio. Food for Soul first international project was this, Rio de Janeiro. You know, it was the 6th of December 2015, and we received at 6 in the morning a message from Rio Mayor, the mayor of Rio, saying, I'm your biggest fan, we need you and the project of Refettorio in Rio de Janeiro, the Olympics. I'm gonna give you this space, do whatever you want. Do whatever I want. I turned to Lara as she was sleeping with me, and I said, what do we do? I don't know, it's 6 in the morning, we go back to sleep. I answered, why not? Because I think I thought was a very good opportunity. Because this is not a charity project in which you do by yourself without any, spotlight, but we need people who communicate that. It's a cultural project, and we need to involve as many people as we can, especially journalists. They have to communicate around the world. And during the Olympics, all the journalists, they were there in Brazil. So, what we found out there was that no more excuses means something different, It meant a whole different approach to society, simply because society was different. I was getting out of mind as soon as I flew to Rio. Then I said, I really have to change my mind. How can I change my mind? I changed my mind through what? So stopping, find excuses everywhere. And I went in a place in Copacabana because I need to get out of that place because it was anarchy, If Italy is anarchy, Brazil is like 20 times more, And I said, okay, I have to change my mind. This is not Osteria Francescana. This is Rio de Janeiro. I have to convince them they have to be part of the project. So what I did, I went to a tattoo place and I tattoo here, no more excuses. So I could look every morning and say, okay, stop thinking like that. I have to go and work with no excuses, just solutions. So, at the same time, we were approaching Brazil in a very delicate moment. The Olympics were there. We're getting close to the day. The Olympics catering companies that had to be our major partner didn't want to be associated with us. Last day. And, because they thought it meant something bad for them. And during the Olympics, also, the soup kitchen, they were being closed because the government didn't want to show the world there were so many people in need. And they were closing soup kitchen and move all the needy outside of the city of Rio. And to hide the real face of poverty, they built a wall to cover the biggest favela outside the airport in Rio. Soup kitchen were being closed. So we decided to open a soup kitchen. In 55 days, the metro architects built a space from an empty alley that measured 48 long and 6 wide meters. And the Campana brothers, they designed communal tables from reclaimed wood. Brazilian chef, as well as international chef, didn't hesitate a single moment to come and join us. I remember Claude Troisgros sent out a message, an Instagram to all the chefs of Brazil. In 1 hour, they start coming with protein, with food, with, with surplus of their restaurant. And, we had everything, On August 9, we opened the Refettorio Gastromotiva. And today, we are serving 500 meals a week. Quality of the ideas. Let me tell you about a recipe that sounds a little bit crazy for you, but was very good at that time. And no one said something like, what is this? It's not bacon. So it's smoked banana peels carbonara. It was the opening day of the Refettorio Gastromotiva. We just had, like, few minutes ago, the water, because they were the major smart engineer, they went through a wall close to the building on the side of our refettorio to check where the water was. They break into the wall and they connect the water to the building on the side. So we had water. Because they forgot to ask for the permission to connect the water. But it's not a problem. We didn't have any electric energy. But, a friend of mine said, maybe I have an idea. Why don't we bring a big generator outside? Okay, bring it. So we had the energy, the electric energy. But no gas. So we went to buy 2 small burners from a campfire, and so we could open the refettorio. But no matter how, we were going to do this, and no excuses. We had to do it. So what kind of food we were cooking? And I was looking around. There were bananas everywhere. Bananas on the counter, bananas on the floor, bananas there. And all the volunteers, they were cleaning bananas. So I said, what the hell is going on? I had some pasta that I brought with my bags, we sneak from the custom. And, there was some Parmigiano Reggiano, too. And so there was just about some pancetta, lightly smoked pancetta, enough for 1 portion, maybe 2. So I said, what are we going to do? So I remember from what I learned and experienced in Milan, how the Mexicans, they were using banana peels as a chutney or to create something, crunchy. I said, okay, we're going to use the banana peels and transform the banana peels into bacon. And so I start boiling them, as they did, then saute, then put in the oven to make it crunchy, but the oven exploded, because it was too powerful. It's not a joke, It was epic. it happened. So what we did, we broke up all these wood cases for bananas, and we set up a smoker outside of the refectorio. And we start smoking these banana peels and grill them, as with some pancetta sliced very thin to give to the banana peels this long flavor of pork. At that time, so my daughter started taking care because was her vacation, and so what a better vacation than smoking banana peels in a refectorio of outside in Lapa neighborhood. And we start smoking that, and at the time of the serving, we transform all the banana fruit into a beautiful sorbet, and we serve an amazing carbonara. And I didn't say to anyone that the banana peel was not bacon, and no one person, even the journalists, they realized that was not bacon. So something, I was watching, my crew, the guys, they decide from Osteria Francescana to come and volunteer during the vacation period. I was watching my daughter, my son, my wife. Something would happen. And this place was coming to life. And this was an amazing moment. And artists, designers, architects, they work together to make something unique and full of beauty. Something that could give a message to the local community, but also to the rest of the world. You know, on the left here, you see the Last Supper, but made in chocolate by the artist Vic Muniz. Because in Milan, the first idea was like to create something better than Leonardo da Vinci 500 years ago. So I got this idea. I said, Vic, I really need your Last Supper in chocolate. And he did like a Last Supper 8 meters long by 3. You know, it was just amazing. And even JR, that we're going to meet after, covered the wall with photographs of the students of Gastromotiva. They were not pictures of famous chefs, not me, not Ducasse, not Alex Atala, but the students, the chef of the next generations. We want to state a clear message. The future is them, the future is here, today in Rio. So, all those people, families, single mothers, homeless, marginalized transgenders, we invite them back downtown, and we gave them a place to eat, but even a place to stay together. In Rio, we met people who never been served in their whole lives. Maybe you read the article of the New York Times that finished with, the interview of these two guys. They were like, the most amazing thing is like, it's the first time in our life they treat us like human beings. That was like, wow. Kids, during the service, they were playing and breaking glasses on the table because they thought they never drink in glass. They never use. And they were, many warned us about chaos, about danger, about violence, about disorders, but none of this happened. Nothing. Together with chefs and volunteers, our guests gave life a vibrant, playful atmosphere, carnival of colors that could last all night long. Look how powerful a smoked banana peel could be. And, we made it. And after, Rio, this is Modena in which you see Luca Zamok that is create an affresco all over this old chapel, and we opened that. But we need more soup kitchen? No, I don't think so. That's Bologna on the side. But still, I think there was the need for more ideas, more beauty, more hospitality in a different way. And here we go with the next refectorio. The next refectorio is going to open in 5th of June 2017 in London. Why we are going to London? Now, more than ever, it's crucial to have social project that embrace inclusiveness and solidarity. We choose London because it has a diversity of food and culture, which make it a place of opportunity for food for soul. For finding new solutions to fight food waste, for finding new solutions to share the power of beauty, for finding new solutions to value hospitality. London is also a city of challenges and inequalities. Food waste is rampant. We felt that Food for Soul could make the difference in London. Can we make visible the invisible in London? In central London, in the heart of Kensington, we found a community center providing services and food for the homeless for more than 25 years. And most of the people in Kensington district, they don't even know that exist. Just 5 minutes from Earl Court Tube Station, as I speak, designer Iles Crawford and her team are transforming a rundown to this beautiful building. We are installing a brand new kitchen, replacing tables and chairs, bringing new life, and 50 base chefs from London, supported by many international chefs, already said yes, and we will be cooking during the summer of 2017 in this soup kitchen. At the time when people are building walls, Food for Soul is breaking them down. This is civil resistance. Just last week, we found out that Rockefeller Foundation saw in Food for Soul enough potential that they decide to support us with a grant to help us grow in sustainable ways and to maximize our impact, to help us opening new refectorio and ensure that they endure. The refectorio was the first seed. Rio was the second. Modena, Bologna, London. Now we are hoping to open refectorios in the United States. The Bronx, the poorest community in all United States, could be a beautiful, beautiful idea. But also New Orleans. For me, my passion are music, you know, and New Orleans has been hit by a big thing, and you know, Detroit, or maybe, who knows, Miami, Denver. I think it's gonna be a big thing, and it's gonna be very interesting. 30 years ago, when I began cooking, I would have never imagined that, you know, chef, they can be a voice of change. Today, the lines are blurred. Chefs are becoming active outside their restaurants. Alice Water is fighting for food education and edible schoolyard. Ferran closed his restaurant and opened a foundation about food research and science. The Mario Batali Foundation is making sure that children are well-read and well-fed. Dominique Cran is working in Haiti planting cacao and coffee trees. These are just some examples of how chefs are using their voice to make change. If you think about it, we came a long way. 20 years ago, nobody cares about what chef had to say. Look how that is changed. We all have a voice to make change happen. We can all speak up, and more important, to act anywhere, at any condition. The voice of change can be the one of an engineer, of a baker, of an artist, a grandmother, a musician, a father, a student. The more we are, the louder we will be. We can all make visible the invisible. Thank you. One more thing. Thank you. One more thing. In the moment, one day, we were visiting the Museum of Tomorrow of Calatrava in Rio. The volunteers, they were robbed by some people in the favelas. But in the Museum of Calatrava, we saw the prediction for the future. Right now, like almost 900 million people are needy. For 2050, they said they're going to be 400 million. So I think right now, here, we are making a revolution. And we have to keep going and fight for this. Thank you.
Grazie, Massimo. We'll invite the audience. We have maybe 10 minutes for a few questions, but I also saw Theater for Life. What was the experience for the other chefs? How did you bring them in, and how did they interact with the clients, with the guests at the refettorio?
Actually, it was very easy, because it took to me 45 minutes to make all the phone calls. They didn't even let me finish and explain what the project was. They said, we're gonna stay and we're gonna be with you. So this is the quality, quality of integrity and the ethic that I work for, and I spent these last 32 years that I'm doing what I'm doing. And the people knows they can trust me. And immediately, every single one I called said yes. Wow. So, and I said, guys, I promise you, I met Don Giuliano. He's a crazy priest that lives in this place and is always in trouble with everything. And I met him, and he said to me, instead of showing me the first time this theater, he said, look at the train. The train station is back there. It's beautiful. The train is the future. Look, they're passing. I said, okay, this guy is the right one. So crazy. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And yes, and we did it,
Fantastic. We have questions? Yes.
Hi, Chef. It's really an honor to hear you speak. I am a graduate of ALMA, La Scuola di Cucina.
So you know the Emilia state of mind.
Yes. Well, and it was while I was in Italy that I became passionate about working with our food system, which has a lot of problems, and helping to feed the underserved. I came in from Chicago. And I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, how do we in this audience work with Food for Soul to get you into places like Chicago, Detroit, New York, things like that?
Yeah. There are students here, there are people in the Rockefeller Foundation that are studying, the way to approach. Lara just came back from Boulder in Colorado, and she said that Denver is a beautiful place in which, you know, the old slow food community is focusing and could be very interesting in Denver. For me, like my first dream was like involve the CEO of Chrysler, like Mr. Marchionne, saying, you know, you're Italian, I'm Italian, we can do something in Detroit, you know, you save a lot of, you know, working people from, you know, the disaster in 2008, and, you know, Detroit is an amazing community that has been, you know, now rebuilt by art, by the ideas, the quality of the ideas of the artists that, you know, they couldn't afford Los Angeles, New York, they moved to Detroit, they rebuilt and re-give life to neighborhoods that are like, you know, they were abandoned. And I think Detroit could be very interesting, but I think, you know, Chicago, you know, there are so many places. I was give like a speech in Miami, and, you know, as soon as I finished, I said, we want to do this one in Miami. I said, oh, okay. But I also have Osteria Francescana and other things to do, you know, but we'll do it. And I know we will do it. But in the moment we realize the right, you know, approach and way to replicate one to another, you know, it would be very, very easy. But don't think the United States is the worst place for food waste, you know. It's like Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, like more than 60% of food is wasted. You know, Brazil is 50%. 11 big trucks full of fruit and vegetables are burned every day just in Rio de Janeiro. It's insane. There are 2 million people, they don't have anything to eat. And, you know, nobody cares. And, you know, it's like this. It's like, you know, when we were approaching, you know, to teach, because one of the most important things is like to transfer our knowledge to the volunteers. You know, there is one of the most amazing baker is in Milan, is the guy who spent 6 months with us and learned how to bake bread from the best chef in the world. You know, now it's like, it's amazing, you know, how we use many different mother yeast and stuff like that. So it's like, I said, okay guys, I taste the sorbet from the banana, and I said, what is this? I don't taste anything. I said, it's banana sorbet. Yeah, but I don't taste anything. I just taste sugar. How much sugar did you use? 50%. 50% of sugar in a sorbet of brown bananas, overripe. It's crazy. So what I did, I left the sorbet there. I made another one with 30%. I made another one with 10%, and another one with 0 sugar. And I said, okay, everyone here, taste all this sorbet and tell me what you think. And you know, it's the way you approach, the way you teach the volunteers. They have to be, you know, to explain to everyone what they can do with that, you know, and how they can use the knowledge from us.
Hey, Massimo. How has this whole experience changed you? You've obviously gone over to Brazil and you've created these kitchens and created these spaces using a lot of food waste. How do you then go back into your kitchen in your main restaurant, and how has it changed your mindset about how you cook and how your team creates dishes?
Absolutely. A very good question. Without Osteria Francescana, when I say, what is Osteria Francescana? It's not a business, because we are 52 people serving 28 covers, so it's not a business. So, you know, it's like, it's a laboratory of ideas, and in which we create culture. And, you know, the word everything, ragu of everything that Ferran used, is we developed that idea in Osteria for the staff meal. We have to work and to serve and to feed 22 people every lunch and every dinner. And so we have to work it out, you know? And we developed so many different ideas that at the end we use in different soup kitchen. Think about pesto. We didn't have anything. We thought we had enough basil for pesto. Then we arrived at one point that was not enough. So we put mint inside and thyme. So the mental palate was telling us, was talking to us and say, don't use rosemary, don't use sage, but mint and thyme are perfect with basil. Then we didn't have enough pine nuts. So what we did, we used breadcrumbs. And we made an amazing pesto, lighter than usually pesto. The guys that work in Osteria, they want that pesto now. They ask for that pesto, not the one with the pine nuts. So that means you find solution through your knowledge. And the mental palette and the experience you create in Osteria, I could never imagine to create a refettorio without my team in Osteria Francescana and what we do every day. But after that, we could do it, you know? And that's a very, very important point. And something that, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't lose yourself in everyday life, but you realize that everyday life is something very important, is an opportunity. The door always open to the unexpected. To walk inside and say, wow, that's amazing, let's do it. This is what we do. Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. And so my name's Alia, and I work at OCAD University in Toronto, and I do research about how creative organizations can create social impact. And I saw your film, The Theatre of Life, last year in Toronto when it aired there.
Theatres of Life.
Yeah, Theatre of Life, yeah, when it aired in Toronto at our documentary theatre, and I was really blown away by it, really inspired.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm interested to know, so I love the way you're trying to change our conception of what a soup kitchen is and the stigma around it, and the people that you highlighted in the film. I'd like to know more about this aspect of culture that you're saying it's not a charity project, it's a culture product. So project. So what are they doing now? What kind of, now that you can maybe see some of the outcomes of the project and the impact of the culture on them since it opened, can you tell us more about that?
It's very personal, this, because there are stories that happened during the Brazil Expo, and that like really, really touch your heart, and it's like it's very difficult to talk about this, but I've seen during all these events, you know, and I'm touching Bologna and Modena every day, you know. I've seen in downtown Modena, the guests are people that I've always seen, and I knew them because I was walking on downtown. It's a very small town, and I knew them, and I saw them in there. I was kind of a little bit embarrassed, you know, to see them. Bologna was totally different. Bologna was refugees' family. And since the first day, with families and kids, was a party like a celebration. We celebrated, you know, and it was extremely easy. Rio was completely different from all the rest because it's like those are people you see on the street selling their body 1 hour later, and you know, it was like very embarrassing. But one thing that was one short story was about two trans. You know, they came to me after three nights, and he said, "Chef, are you the boss?" You know, I'm the boss. I'm here to try to help. You know, we would love to work here. I said, okay, so what you can do? Then I'm crazy about cleaning, you know? And I said, I think you can clean and come tomorrow morning. So they came the morning after. And, they start, I put them close to this little short favelas young lady. I said, take care of these two and show them how to clean. After 1 week, they came back to me and said, so how do you feel? I thought, our life changed, We have a warm, welcome every day. We have 2 meals, some money in the pocket. It's the most amazing thing ever. And they're still there. So this is how change the life of people, They are just 2 examples.
We have time for one last question, and then Massimo's book is on sale outside, Never Trust a Skinny Italian Chef. But let's hear the last question of the day.
Hi, Massimo. I have to confess something, that you are my food waste hero. It was at the beginning of my project, also 3 years ago, that I heard your story. And I agree about the despair and the shame around food waste. People in general, my part of this is the land where the food is grown, but people don't know what to recycle. They don't know what food waste is. They, do I put this and not that? And they end up just putting it in the garbage and saying, away. Yeah. And so, the back half of that food cycle. But one of your stories about the creativity is celebrated in my house every May 20th. Every May 20th, we make a dish and we gather friends and family and neighbors and we cook it together about the horror of the earthquake and the loss of all the Parmigiano and what you did. So I just thought for chefs and for people to be creative about food waste and not think of that as a waste product, but to create something that gets celebrated.
Could be waste.
It could be, yeah.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't, but I just thought maybe, sharing that story would inspire other people to look at food differently.
It was really crazy because, it was like 10 in the morning and I received this message from a friend and with the photograph of some aging, storage in which everything was just falling apart. So what? Then I retweeted and Instagram and Facebook. I use all the social to make visible the invisible for everyone. And after a little while, the Parmigiano Reggiano came to me and he said they asked for help, and I said, let me think. And we put together all this energy: slow food, the consortio, the small producers, ideas, And in this recipe, I put together Manzoni, the artist from 1950. I put together, the Lydia's grandmother. I put together everything I knew, and we built this recipe. We created this recipe that helped to sell 360,000 wheels of Parmigiano Reggiano in 3 months. That means save all the, and the meaning now was much more than that. I think was, in that moment, I knew we could do something more than just cook. So we can be agent of change, And I start explaining to all these gastronomic conference, that, they were spending hours cutting a carrot or saute and present in a more engineering way that, food was changing. The food world was changing, was going much more deeply into emotional things that, these engineering things that didn't give you anything, So that's why a white surface of rice with the most incredible, research and avant-garde way of present and extract the broth from the Parmigiano became an icon of this, But at the end, after 3 months, no one lost the job, no companies closed the things, and the Parmigiano damage was sold out. That's the point.
Great. This is a great ending for Massimo keynote speak. I think it was fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a sport.